Hello, my name is Elizabeth Rubio, and I'm doing a review of the New York Times article that I read this week. The title of the piece that I chose is Evidence That Little Touches Do Mean So Much by Benedict Carey. The purpose of this article is to discuss the significance of physical contact and what effect it has on our emotions and our mind. It's been known throughout time that body language and physical contact have the ability to convey our emotions at times more clearly and more accurately than verbal communication, and that's what this author was trying to convey through his work. This article goes through a series of studies that work to prove just how significant and meaningful these types of interactions can be. One of the studies was done by Matthew Herrnstein, who had one group of participants blindfolded, while a second group was told to express emotions through a series of interactions and touches. The blindfolded participants were then told to identify as many of the emotions that were being conveyed to them through touch, and at the end, they were able to identify 8 different emotions, and some of them even had an accuracy rate of 70%. People tend to think that touch and interactions of this sort just work to enhance our emotions and what we're saying. But through these studies, we're able to prove that physical contact and this sort of interaction can be a form of communication all on its own. Scientists have also found that kind and supportive touches can soothe depression, it can build and strengthen relationships, and it can also relax the body and mind in times of stress. When a warm gesture is received, oxytocin, which is a hormone that is related to trust, is released, and the hormone cortisol, which is related to stress, is reduced. So the mind and the body are able to loosen up in that manner. Reason being that our minds are wired to process this interaction as if that person were saying, I'll share some of the load with you. So this reliever helps us relax, and it relieves some of the stress, and we're in turn able to perform better. This study then links back to a study conducted by a group of researchers at Berkeley University who attended basketball games and observed and recorded the physical interactions among the players during the game. At the end of the study, they found that the teams that were listed as the best in the league at that time actually showed more forms of physical interactions during the game. Same thing goes for couples. When couples were being interviewed, those who showed more physical contact throughout the interview were reported being happier in their relationship than those who showed less forms of physical contact while they were being interviewed. In relation to this score specifically, this article went through a series of experiments that had different methods, such as controlled experiment with the blindfolded participants and field experiments with the basketball games, and there was also interviews as form of research. If I were to thoroughly go into this topic, I would go into books on cognitive psychology, which have information on the study of the mind and how we are able to process our emotions. I would also look into social psychology that goes into more of nonverbal communication and how we interact with people. After reading this article, I was able to conclude that in this case, actions do speak louder than words.